And we're back. So we were just talking about Detective, this week's Detective, 874. And so the, like I said, so, still a lot of fallout of what Dick Grayson is dealing with as far as, the madman who was selling pieces of supervillain memorabilia to elite clientele, like such as what was rumored to be the crowbar that the Joker almost beat Robin to death with from the Death in the Family saga. And he kind of got hit with, basically a fear toxin. I think they explained it as some kind of derivative of Scarecrow's fear toxin, and he's still dealing with the after effects of that. And Red Robin's, fortunately got his back. I thought it was a little interesting that he wasn't using the Damian Robin in this, but going instead with Tim. Red Robin, Tim Drake. Is a character that I think has been, very, very well handled. I had the first couple issues of Red Robin. I think the first complete story arc of Red Robin, where he was kind of with the League of Assassins and going through that. So that was just a really interesting thing to have dealt with overall. So just really good issue. I mean, I really, really, really enjoyed more the the kind of prologue story with Jim Gordon and younger James Gordon. So just to see it kind of go in that direction, to deal with more personal issues surrounding the peripheral characters to, in the Batman universe. I mean, Jim Gordon has always been a very central character, I think, but, he's kind of been, kind of pushed to the side in favor of, these much larger stories about, okay, well, here's the death of Bruce Wayne, and who's gonna wear the cowl now, and and now even more so with Bruce Wayne coming back, and there being Batman Incorporated. So it's always nice to see characters on the periphery get their day in the sun, and this is a perfect example of how well that can be done. So again, just a really good issue overall. It's it's one of the few Batman books that I think really still lives up to its Batman self. Because the Tony Daniel written and drawn Batman, I think, is a little it's kind of like taking cues from Grant Morrison. It's like really out there, and this is a lot more down to earth, and I like that. So, because I don't read Batman and Robin, I don't read Batman Inc., mostly because I don't really have any interest in those particular takes on these characters, the kind of Grant Morrison inspired takes. And, time will tell if I'm going to even end up dropping, the main Batman title from my pull box, because, like I said, just the last arc, I was totally lost. I didn't know what the hell was going on. So, but anyway, on to our book of the week. Like I said, since it's Brubaker week, so we're bound to get some more Cap. So we got Captain America 615, and it's the finale of the trial of the Winter Soldier. One thing about Ed Brubaker, if you've read his work on some of the other series that he's worked on, such as Daredevil after taking over for Bendis, and also, obviously Cap. He tends to have kind of a almost sadistic hand in what he does with these characters, because you almost get the feeling he doesn't like superheroes very much. I mean, he does. He obviously loves them and has a great affection for them. But he really, really fucks with them. He does not. He does not give these guys the chance to catch a breath. As soon as one crisis is averted, another one, boom. I mean, Daredevil, under the, at the end of Bendis' run, that's where, Matt Murdock wound up in prison. But by the end of Brubaker's run, Daredevil is really screwed. So, I mean, even more screwed than he has been in the past. And that's saying a lot for Daredevil. Going through, Born Again, going through, issues with Typhoid Mary, and then Karen Page again when Kevin Smith did the, his run on Daredevil, with the Mysterio, the Guardian Devil arc. But again, this, because it's Cap, because the Bucky Cap, that's, it's part of what really makes this book sing, is that Bucky has this really dark and quite traumatic past. At least, since we all believe that he was dead. Being the Winter Soldier. And if anything comes out of this, what I actually tweeted Brubaker yesterday after reading this issue, and I said, I don't know if it's ever been pitched, but what I would really like to see is a Winter Soldier series, even if it's just a mini, written by someone like Greg Rucka, who obviously, he and Brubaker have worked together before, so, I hope they're friends. And Greg Rucka did Queen and Country, which is probably the best, most realistic spy comic that has ever been on the shelf. So if you haven't read Queen and Country, I highly recommend that you do so. It's, like I said, definitely the best spy comic ever. Again, it wraps up, the fighting between, the fighting between him with Cap and Sin while he's trying to save Sam and Natasha. Steve, of course, jumps into the fray. They're trying to save, they're not trying just to save these people that they know and love, but they're also trying to save the Statue of Liberty. It ends up on kind of a bizarre note. But it's really, amazing thing. And then the ending, the crushing ending of this, just when you think you're safe, he's not. Which is why I really think we need more Winter Soldier stuff, that details his years while he was an assassin working for the Russians. It's also got the backstory, the peripheral story, of Nomad, which I think just seems kind of out of place in a Captain America book. I appreciate that Nomad is, kind of a spin-off of the Captain America character, as it has been through the years since, the Nixon administration, when they first created Nomad as an alternate identity for Captain America, and now, you have this young girl from another world, from another Earth, who's here, and she's alone, and she feels alone anyway. They're interesting stories, but it's just, in this book they seem kind of out of place, because you got Cap, which is a very kind of, not adult but more mature audience, and then Nomad's kind of like for, it's more for younger people. But whatever, hey, whatever works. It's a good story, and I like it. So again, that's the book of the week. We're going to be right back with some comic movie talk. Okay, so stick around.